All right, y'all. So I'm going to break down for you what the hell is going on with TikTok. I know you probably have a lot of questions. You've been seeing a lot of stories about it over the past couple days. Well, I'm going to break it all down for you. So let's start with this. Benjamin Norton says the following. U.S. politics is a farce. Trump signed an executive order in 2020 trying to ban TikTok, but judges blocked it. Now, Biden is banning it, and the Supreme Court just decided we're going to give it the green light. So despite the Democrats, now Trump is going to get credit for, quote, saving TikTok after he tried to ban it first. Okay, so that's a basic timeline of events. As you can see here, he has receipts. 2020, August 6th, Trump signs executive order that will effectively ban use of TikTok in the U.S. But U.S. judges said, no, you can't do that. This is something that would have to go through Congress. So that gets halted. But then what happens is it comes up again for a vote, this time through Congress. There was actual legislation. The Republican House passes the TikTok ban. The Democratic Senate also passes it. So it gets through Congress, comes to Biden's desk. Biden signs it, effectively banning it, but there was a little grace period where they were attempting to have it be sold to a U.S. investor, right? And basically, we hit that deadline. Boom, it was banned. Now, right before it got banned, you basically had everybody was kind of like, oh, wait, maybe we won't enforce this. The Supreme Court says is just like a week ago. They were like, yeah, okay, you can ban it. All right, like you have the ability to ban this because you passed it through Congress and it was going to be banned, so you're allowed to do it. And then you had Biden at the last minute was like, whoa. Hey, maybe I won't enforce it. Maybe we'll find a way to give it a grace period. And the reason he was reacting like that is because public sentiment was literally the exact opposite. There was a time when banning TikTok was viewed as popular, but right before the ban actually went into effect, everybody was like, holy shit, we don't want it banned. A lot of people, especially young people, use this app. A lot of people make a living on this app, right? And so they were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't ban it. So, but what happened is, so TikTok comes out and they say, look, we know Biden said that he was basically not going to enforce the law or considering not enforcing the law. That's not a solid enough commitment to us. So we're just going to shut down the app in the U.S. because we don't want to run afoul of the law. So they come out and say that. And then Trump comes out and says, save TikTok. We're going to save TikTok. I'm going to sign an executive order to reverse this. Then TikTok, after being offline for one day, releases a statement. I'll show you the statement in a second. Where they're like, okay, we're going to bring it back. And all glory be to President Trump. Let me, I'll walk you through more of it. So just to back up this claim here, in 2020, Trump was everywhere saying ban TikTok. Here's 1,000 headlines. NBC News. Trump says he's banning TikTok in the U.S. Tech. Trump on TikTok. We're banning them from the United States. Trump says he intends to ban TikTok from the U.S. That's New York Post. Billboard. President Trump says he will ban TikTok from the U.S. Breitbart. Trump says he'll ban TikTok in the U.S. Vanity Fair. Donald Trump declares war on TikTok from Air Force One. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, list goes on. This was the Republican position. This was the Donald Trump position at the time. All right. More. Here is Trump. This is back in 2020. Here's what he was saying.
When I wanted to disable TikTok 3 years ago, I was met with opposition from rhinos, Democrats, and everyone else. They actually went to court in an effort to stop me.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening. So we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.
We gave them until September 15th. After that, they got to close shop. Okay? That's TikTok.
We're looking at TikTok. We're thinking about making a decision. We're going to be watching the hearings today very closely because there's no question that what the big tech companies are doing is very bad.
TikTok is one thing that we're doing, and we just, I don't know, maybe I would have done that anyway. I don't know. It could have been affected by this.
So that's one. And then here's what he said recently.
And as of today, TikTok is back. And as of today, TikTok is back.
So there you have it. He totally, completely, and utterly flipped on the issue in the most obvious way imaginable. All right, more. So here's here is what TikTok sent out after being offline for a day, being banned for a day. They take the statement, "Save TikTok" from President Trump, which he released on Truth Social and all the social media apps. TikTok says, "Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. You can continue to create, share, and discover all the things you love on TikTok." More. March 2020. This is March 2023. This was not long ago. Here's what Trump said. This is basically 2 years ago. He says this: "Has anybody noticed that everyone wants to go after and destroy TikTok due to China influence and national security? When I wanted to disable TikTok 3 years ago, I was met with opposition from rhinos to Democrats to everyone else. They actually went to court in an effort to stop me. Now they realize I was right and have changed their tune. Sadly, I've been right about everything." So here he was in 2023 saying, yeah, ban TikTok. I was right. Now everybody's coming around to my position. I've always been right about this. Ban TikTok. Right? And then again, just the other day, save TikTok. So he did a total flip-flop on this issue. By the way, watch. Nobody in mainstream media is going to ask him about this. Nobody's going to try to hold him accountable. And as we point out, MAGA's a cult. As Trump goes, everybody else in MAGA goes. Ready? So here is what Charlie Kirk was saying in 2020. Breaking. President Trump just announced on Air Force One that he will be banning the evil CCP-compromised app TikTok. America can't continue to allow our citizens to be surveilled by Xi Jinping and his terroristic cronies. I have long advocated for this. Fight back! It wasn't just Charlie Kirk. It was literally everybody in MAGA was on the page of banning TikTok because Trump was railing against TikTok on a regular basis. Then here he is just the other day. Trump is saving TikTok. Pay attention, Generation Z. So again, a total flip-flop. Why? Why is Trump doing this? Well, guys, the answer is actually super straightforward, and it drives me crazy that more people aren't talking about this. Why did he flip his position? When he was advocating for banning TikTok, he had received no donations from TikTok. Now, he got $1 million from the CEO of TikTok. The CEO of TikTok decided, I'm going to play the political game. I'll give $1 million to Donald Trump. And so as soon as he got that $1 million check, on a dime, totally flipped and said, TikTok, we're going to save TikTok. We love TikTok, folks. We love TikTok. Now, by the way, further evidence of what's going on here, you have TikTok CEO is reposting Charlie Kirk. Okay? So, in other words, the statement that TikTok released, where they were like, yeah, okay, we know Biden said that he's going to try to find a way to not enforce the law, et cetera, but that's not a strong enough commitment for us, so we're going to ban it. We're going to pull it down. Why would they release that and then release two separate statements, basically saying, all glory be to the amazing Donald Trump who saved us. You should be thanking this glorious, amazing Donald Trump. Comrade Donald has saved us from being banned. They released it because they're playing politics. They're playing politics. They're on the side of MAGA. They're on the side of Trump. They're playing the political game. They gave him a massive contribution. So he looks out for them and they look out for him. And they're trying to give him the credit for saving it. Now, by the way, let's be clear. He is indeed saving it. The reason he's saving it is pure corruption and bribery. Let's not get it twisted. That's why he's saving it. But having said that, we never really should have been having this conversation about banning TikTok anyway. This is a massive crackdown. This is complete authoritarianism. It's trying to shut down free speech. This is an app that's used by young people all across this country to get their voice out and have fun. And the government just deciding to ban it is an insane overreach. So while I have a lot of criticism of Trump, the fact that he totally flip-flopped on this, the fact that he changed his mind because of corruption and bribery, the fact that he never even had to explain why he changed his mind. He never tried to square that circle. He was just in favor of banning it. Then boom, oh, would you look at that? He's not in favor of banning it anymore. Now he wants to save it. Gee, I wonder why. Nobody asks him why. Nobody tells you why, right? Many criticisms of Trump. Clearly in bed with TikTok now, etc. But man, I got a lot of smoke for the Democrats in this story too. This is classic Democrat self-inflicted wound bullshit. You know, when the Republicans lead on an issue, like Trump did a few years back, they led on ban TikTok. It came from the likes of Tom Cotton and Lindsey Graham and the China hawks and the neocons. They led on this. And instead of the Democrats actually thinking for themselves and making a counter argument and saying, hey, we don't agree with that. Young people are part of our coalition. They love this app. We don't understand why you would ban this app. We believe in freedom. We believe in liberty. We believe in people should be able to say whatever they want to say on the app. We should defend this app. A lot of people make a living on this app. This app is very popular. Instead of actually taking a stand and making a counter argument and saying, leave TikTok alone, we're going to defend TikTok at the time, what do? They followed the right wing. They went right down the path that the right wing wanted them to go down because no Democrats seemingly can think for themselves. They can't take a stand on their own. This happens every time. Every time there's a big debate in the country. Think of the Iraq War. Most of the Democrats went right along with the Republicans and bent the knee and said, yeah, I'm in favor of the Iraq War because everybody's in favor of the Iraq War. How about actually taking a stand? How about actually believing in something? How about actually making a counter argument? And so now you do have a lot of Democrats who are trying to blame Trump for this because Trump was the godfather of the idea of banning TikTok in the first place, which is an argument that makes sense to some extent. But what they're not telling you is, why did the Democratic Senate pass the bill to ban TikTok? Why did Joe Biden sign the bill to ban TikTok? They don't answer that question. The reason they did it is because they're cucks and they always bend the knee to the right and they never make a counter argument and they never stand strong. And so they felt like that's where the political winds were blowing in favor of banning TikTok. So they said, yes, sir, I'm in favor of banning TikTok too. And now they screwed the pooch. Because now this was a layup for Trump now. Because Biden signed the bill, a Democratic Senate passed the bill, it was a Republican House to be fair, but a Democratic Senate passed the bill, Biden signed the bill to ban TikTok, and then at the last minute, his meek maybe we'll try to save it, etc., opens the door wide open for Trump to come in and look like the savior. And now I'm sure you're going to see, with young people in particular, because this is such a popular app with young people, Trump's numbers are going to skyrocket. They're going to read the thing sent to them from TikTok, how Trump saved TikTok, and they're going to go, hey, at least he did one thing good, right? And so I got smoke for everybody in this story. The only reason Trump flipped to this position, which is the correct position, but the only reason he flipped to it, we never should have banned TikTok, we never even should have been having the conversation, that's fucking insane, right? But the only reason he did this is because of bribery, is because of corruption, is because they gave him $1 million. That's the only reason. That's it. So people need to tell the truth about that. People need to point that out. People need to point out he originally came up with the idea of banning TikTok. Everyone needs to point that out. But at the same time, you got to give Democrats a fresh kick in the ass here and let them know. Guys, stop being embarrassing. Stop being pathetic. Stop always, whatever the right-wing consensus is at the time, going down that path. And by the way, the polls at the time a few years back, Republicans hammered away on this and moved the issue to be a popular issue among the public. It was over 50% of the country wanted to ban TikTok, right? And so Democrats were I guess we'll go in that direction because the Republicans are screaming about it and the polls show slightly in favor of banning it. Well, guess what? Right before the ban happened, nobody wanted to ban it anymore. The polls collapsed. It was 30-something% that wanted to get rid of TikTok because it turns out not only is it a very popular app, but a lot of people make a living on the app, right? And so you could have just taken a stand at the beginning. You could have just said, this is our position from the beginning. You could have just fought on that, stood on that, but they never, ever fucking do. And then now it's such a classic Democrat and Republican story, right? Because everybody plays their role. Republicans lead. From the beginning, they lead. Hey, we want to ban it. And then they move the polls in favor of banning it, right? And then they get bribed to flip their position. They flip their position. They're against banning it. And they save the day, right? And then Democrats, they just follow the Republicans the entire time. They finish the deal of actually banning it. And then they get all the blame. It's just classic. It shows how broken U.S. politics is. It shows how disgusting and grotesque and sloppy and broken it is. That there's not a Democrat with a backbone anywhere in sight. And the Republicans have all the backbone in the world, but they're incredibly corrupt and stupid, and they get bribed on a daily basis. And now it looks like they're the heroes, even though, again, they don't have a real position on anything. It's just all, where's the money going? So, Jesus Christ, man. This story drives me crazy. We'll finish with this, too. What's the real reason why they banned TikTok? It's got nothing to do with it. They say, China, they're spying on you and they're stealing your data. That argument never made any sense. Everybody already has all of your data. Everybody does. Trump signed a law in his first term, which made it so you have no privacy rights online. Any company that has your information is legally allowed to sell your information to anybody else, right? Every foreign government has your information. Every corporation has your information. It's over. It's done. And everybody knows that that's the case. So any pearl clutching about your data is literally just a lie. They're just lying. It's got nothing to do with that, right? So what's the real reason? Well, if you pay close attention, every now and then they admit what the real reason is.
Well, I think the first time President Trump gets into a trade war with China, the minute we have a disagreement, when we exchange tariffs, they're going to realize the news feed will be all pro-China. There's no pro-Israel stories on there, almost nothing. There's no pro-Taiwan stories. Do we want the predominant news source in America with young people to be pro-China, gradually, subtly anti-American? That's the question you have to ask.
Notice how there was a mention there of Israel. Did you notice the mention of Israel? You know who else said the same thing? The head of the ADL said, we have a TikTok problem. Israel's very unpopular on TikTok, and we're losing the younger generation. We should probably do something about that. The Israel lobby wanted to do something about this. The Israel lobby. So Chris Murphy comes out and says this: TikTok tucking itself in with Trump, Twitter under control of the White House, Facebook making major changes to placate MAGA, doing PR campaign to align with Trump. Does everyone not see what's happening here and how terrifying this is? So as this person points out, hey, Senator, why are you trying to wash your hands of this now after telling Jonah Goldberg's news site back in December 2023 that you decided to embrace the TikTok ban in order to suppress young people's criticism and protests against Israel's genocide in Gaza? Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut was similarly circumspect when pressed on Schumer's conclusion about anti-Semitism and the left. Quote, I think there's an awful lot of hateful speech on the left and the right. But Murphy did offer one concrete idea to combat anti-Semitism: banning TikTok. Part of what I really worry about is the way that social media sites drive this narrative, especially for young people, he said. The way that TikTok is talking about Gaza is designed to divide Americans from each other. While Murphy had previously been reluctant to embrace a ban, the events of the last 2 months have pushed him toward the view that it's probably time to say that we shouldn't have a Chinese-owned social media company force-feeding divisive information to our kids. So the real reason is, online, on TikTok, it was very, very pro-Palestine. And the Israel lobby didn't like that one bit. And our politicians get a tremendous amount of money from the Israel lobby, and they do their bidding. That's why they wanted it banned. That's why. The only reason it's getting unbanned again is because the head of TikTok gave Trump $1 million, and they will probably give him more money. So Trump took the right position for the dead wrong reason, right? But again, he gets to look like the hero here, even though he came up with the original idea of banning TikTok. So this just shows you we're in for a really, really long 4 years. If the Democrats are this stupid, this dumb, this ineffectual, this spineless, and the Republicans know how to hop in front of a parade, know how to make it look like they're the heroes, man, I just shudder at the thought of what's going to go on for the next 4 years, bro. I really do. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.